It is time for the wrap-up of wrap-ups. The Halo wrap-up. Wrapping up everything Halo. All we've seen, all the theories I want to tell you about, everything. Most of this is just going to be about, well, I'll tell you in a minute. First of all, severe spoilers for every Halo game. From Halo CE to Halo Reach. So that includes Halo Combat Evolved, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo 3 ODST, and Halo Reach. Severe spoilers for all of them. Some less so than others, but there's gonna be spoilers for all of them in here somewhere. If you have not played them all, or watched through all my videos of them, preferably both, do not watch this. This is a victory lap for those who have watched through all of it and get to hear all of the theories I subscribe to, all of the lore I know, everything. With that out of the way, and those who have not yet learned the secrets of Halo, let's start with what will make up most of this video, the Flood. Let me just get a custom firefight set up. The Flood is a parasite. A terrifying one at that. But how did they originate? Now this is all the stuff I subscribe to. So it is a mix of Bungie and 343 lore. Mostly the Bungie lore is just stuff that remains in 343 times. Because of the fact that 343 changed it to be that the Forerunners were an alien species and not humans, I believe that makes a much better history for the Flood. So, what is their history? It starts with a species called the Precursors. We don't know what their origin is, but they are from outside of the galaxy. And they are godlike and eldritch. Or they were.
Set, start, tough.
They created all of the species in the galaxy. Or almost all of them. Or At least the intelligent ones. Almost all the intelligent ones. So, one of their creations, known as the Forerunners, was meant to inherit the mantle of responsibility. But they felt that the Forerunners were too vain and would not handle it responsibly. They then passed it on to humanity. This caused a war between the Forerunners and the Precursors, which almost wiped the Precursors out. They retreated to the edge of the galaxy and outside of the galaxy just barely, and ground themselves to a dust. Over time, this dust corrupted, and when one of the ships crashed down on a human planet, they started mixing it with their pets, and at first it showed positive traits, but eventually it became what would become known as the Flood. In fact, I have a theory that infection forms, pod infectors, are a pure form version of the infected pet. Those little things scuttling right there. Since we don't have any truly official imagery of what the pets looked like, especially once they were infected, I theorized that the pod infector is based off of them.
Triple kill.
Anyways, encroaches into human and sentient, aka prophet territory. Wipes out the prophets, causes the humans to flee from it and flee into Forerunner territory. Forerunners engage in a war with humans, thinking the humans are trying to colonize their territory. Nearly wipe out humanity, blah 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 blah. Forerunner Flood War happens. And this is where it gets interesting. So, some of the remaining ancient humans that still have their intelligence find, after a test of the original Hail Rings, one of the original Hail Rings, because originally there were 12 and they were much bigger, but much weaker. They found the Primordial, the first Grave Mind, and the last
Reinforcements.
Precursor. We will come back to this later, but what is important to know is that it said something to them after they asked, what is the truth about the Flood? What is its purpose? What is it? Whatever it said they all just went insane and took themselves out.
Double kill.
Another corpse for my grave.
We'll come back to that later, but the Flood corrupted an AI built by the Forerunners called Mendicant Bias, used it to command their ships. Forerunners built Offensive Bias, a version of Mendicant Bias that was much less free-thinking, to defend as they built the Halos, and they fired the Halos and wiped out the Flood, except for on research sites, such as spots installed on rings or other Forerunner installations, which was really stupid because now the Flood is back in the galaxy. Eventually, an unknown species lands on Delta Halo, which is the Halo from Halo 2, and accidentally unleashes the Flood several thousand years before we arrive there.
Reinforcements. Triple kill.
The Flood goes through all the stuff that you see in games. Now, the Flood is a hive mind. Every grave mind shares the mind of the primordial. And if they get enough grave minds together, they can bend the fabric of reality. For example, how High Charity got to the Ark was by the grave mind bending reality and creating a portal above Mars directly to the Ark. So, grave minds can gain enough power to basically bend reality because the precursors could do that. There is a theory, and as I've gone on and occasionally researched it, there has been more and more evidence to prove it. That makes it so that, well, here's what the theory is about. I got it from a Halo YouTuber. I believe it was Halo Follower. Not a very well-liked Halo YouTuber, but they occasionally used to post some good stuff. Not so much anymore. And this is one of their theories that I legitimately subscribe to. What the Primordial said, what the truth about the Flood is that the Flood and the Precursors are one and the same. Not like the flood was... Oh, I should state that whatever lore this came from, it didn't state what the primordial said, but it did state that it answered truthfully. So the theory is that effectively the primordial said that the precursors go to a galaxy, seed it with life, let that life exist, experience the universe, and then transform into the flood and absorb that life and absorb those experiences. And they are effectively the universe experiencing itself. Now here's some evidence to support that theory. The precursors could change their shape at will. So why would them changing their shape into dust to preserve themselves, why would that ever get corrupted? Why would... It just... The more you learn about Halo lore, and the deeper and deeper you go down rabbit holes and learn, the more it kind of makes sense. The Flood are the precursors. No corruption, no nothing. It's just their end state. Now, the one thing that doesn't make sense about it is that there's the mantle of responsibility. It could be meant to just keep up appearances, but you know, I don't know. That's probably what its purpose is, if this theory is true. Because flood infection is painful. If you're infected by a pod infector, also commonly referred to as an infection form, that thing right there, the infection may only last a matter of 2 to 3 seconds, but your body is ripping itself apart and transforming into a combat form. And then, not only that, but it is searching your mind for any useful information and throwing anything else away.
Vehicular manslaughter. Double kill. Double kill. Double
And then when you're no longer of use to it, you're either just turned into a carrier form, where you gestate pod infectors, or you're ground down into biomass and turned into a pure form, or biomass to spread the flood infection to the land around it. The flood's whole goal is to expand and consume all sentient life.
vehicular manslaughter. Double kill.
And according to the theory that I subscribe to, that is the precursor's goal. And they're doing that as a way of the universe experiencing itself effectively. The precursors are some form of eldritch being tied to the universe that goes around and seeds it with life, and then that life experiences the universe and then the universe in the form of the precursors just comes back and consumes that life. The Flood is truly something that can make Halo go from being a game series that, if you don't think about it too much, it doesn't seem that
Round start.
dark. I'm at the point where it's somewhere in between the darkness of Doom and the darkness of Warhammer 40k. Leaning closer to 40k.
Double kill.
Even breaking apart bodies to prevent them from reviving with an infection form, that doesn't stop it from being used. That just makes it so that if a grave mine gets to it, it's just going to be used as biomass to spread blight land across the planet, or turn it into a pure form.
A little sloppy, but I like it, Trooper. Go.
The armored casket.
Double kill.
Sorry, I got lost for a moment. Yeah. Okay, so Flood Blightlands. As a grave mine develops, it spreads flood biomass in a thin layer across the surface. If it consumes stuff like grass and that sort of stuff, it will turn that into flood biomass and just lay it across the ground. We kind of saw that in High Charity,
Come on, come on.
which is a perfect example of how the flood spreads. It just... we saw it at the end of Halo 2, and then we saw it in Halo 3. And each time we saw it, it looked more and more infected. The more you research the Flood, the more terrifying they get. I could go on for hours talking about the Flood, but I think the reason I'm blanking is because I'm playing the game to give you guys some footage while I talk about it.
Killing frenzy.
And then again, talking for hours, I would end up going over points over and over again. But I would still get new stuff. But yeah, if you want to research the Flood, there's a great channel would be Hidden Xperia. Hidden, just type in like Hidden X, and he should pop up. If not, just look up like Halo Flood lore and you'll find him. He talks about the Flood a lot. He talks about other Halo lore a lot. There's
Double kill.
He is the Halo lore master, in my opinion.
Double kill.
Most of what I know either from playing the games or because of him.
Follow troop.
Anyways. I was not expecting sentinels to spawn. Okay. The Halo franchise in general. Great games. Okay, maybe not to everybody, but to me. Even the 343 games are still pretty great games.
Double kill.
I'm just gonna give a brief summary of what happened in each game in chronological order. Halo Reach. Oh, and of course, put in what we learned so that it all fits together. Halo Reach.
Ghost inbound.
The Covenant invade humanity's second to last stronghold. After the defeat of one of their ships, the Arbiter and his fleet arrive. I believe it's called something like the Fleet of Enduring Justice.
Reinforcements.
Alright, he moved into cover.
Once his fleet have arrived, they end up burning Reach to the ground, killing almost every Spartan. But a few make it out, including, importantly, the Master Chief, who makes it out with Cortana on the Pillar of Autumn, which arrives at Halo before swiftly being knocked out of service, damaged beyond repair, and crashing on Halo. The Master Chief fights his way across Halo, learning about it, and eventually discovering that it is a weapon. He wants to use the weapon against the Covenant. And then learns about the Flood as a feral flood outbreak begins. The feral flood outbreak leads to Captain Keyes getting assimilated into a proto-grave mind that the Master Chief has to destroy to activate the Pillar of Bottom's reactors and destroy Halo before it can be activated and wipe out all life in the galaxy in tandem with the other rings. As its pulse reaches the other rings, all Halos will be activated. The way I assume it works is the Halo pulses are just large enough that they hit the other rings, and when a Halo ring detects another Halo ring's pulse, it activates. So then we have, he escapes, and he makes it back to Earth. Where the Covenant arrive on Earth, humanity's final stronghold. They do not realize humanity is going to be there because they are looking for the Ark. They only knew that the Ark was on Earth. They did not know, or they aren't looking for the Ark, they're looking for the way to the Ark. They did not know that humanity wouldn't be on Earth because they only knew that the way to the Ark was on Earth. They did not know that it was humanity's home planet. So a small fleet arrives at Earth to uncover the Ark to find a large human resistance. The Master Chief follows a Prophet's ship to escape and finds another Halo ring, finding out that there are more. He fights to deactivate this one, discovers the Grave Mind, as well as the Arbiter becomes, well, the Arbiter, and becomes disillusioned with the Prophets and the Great Journey. 1 second, my throat is really scratchy and I need to take a drink of something. The Arbiter defeats Tartarus after the Brute's betrayal, the Brute and Prophet betrayal of the elites, and stops the ring from firing. However, it activates the Ark. Which will then allow the other prophets to arrive on Earth. But meanwhile, during Halo 2, a group of ODSTs, well, meanwhile, while the Master Chief is in transit to the second Halo ring, a group of ODSTs land, most of them are attempting to land directly on top of the very ship that is fleeing, that Master Chief boards, in order to take it out, but it jumps, knocking every ship, or every drop pod, out of their intended trajectory, and knocking out a rookie in a specific team that was told they were going to land on the ship, but actually were meant to rescue a Covenant asset known as an engineer. This engineer would be able to tell them a lot about Covenant technology, and help them win the war. Over the course of the night, the day and following night and morning, they search the city, find the rookie who was knocked out for 6 hours, and rescue the engineer, giving humanity an upper hand in Halo 3. In Halo 3, we return to Earth by crash landing
Double kill.
after leaving Cortana behind in High Charity to blow it up in case the Flood escapes, leaving her trapped with the Gravemind. And
Vehicular manslaughter. Overkill.
we crash land back on Earth.
Kill.
We're picked up by Sergeant Johnson and his team. We're captured, we rescue them, fight the Covenant, try to destroy what we believe is the Ark, but it's actually something that will activate the portal to the Ark. The Flood arrives on Earth, as well as a message from Cortana. The Flood spreads across a little under half the continent of Africa in a matter of hours. And half the continent is glassed by the elite fleet who are now working with humans.
Remaining. Last enemy. Weapon drop.
So now they enter the portal to the Ark. Search for the control room, find it, find the pocket of truth in the control room after terrifyingly working with the Flood, which means
Rounds.
that it knows what the Halos are and is willing to work with its food in order to be able to eat them later.
Double kill.
Covenant is defeated.
Slaughter spree.
We had to High Charity to get Cortana,
Double kill.
and then once we've retrieved Cortana, we destroy High Charity
Double kill.
in an attempt to destroy the Gravemind and the Flood. But the Gravemind regenerates before we can even reach the reconstruction of the first Halo that we destroyed. We activate it, destroying it and the Flood. Or at least
Double kill.
their Gravemind on High Charity. The Flood is still around in the galaxy, but the Human Covenant War is over. Master Chief is lost in space,
Double
and there is a peace between the elites and the humans, and a tedious treaty between every other species. That is a brief summary of Halo, or at least what I've played on my channel here over the past couple months. I could talk a lot about the different species of Halo, but I did that in my other wrap-ups, which you can find on my channel or in the individual Halo playlists for each game. I believe I talked about every species in either a wrap-up or a level of a game. But if not, I might as well give a very brief summary of each. Elites, aka the Sangheili, are the honor-bound main warriors. Brutes are kind of their equals, but are Brutes, aka Jirohane, are kind of their equals, but are much more animalistic and, well, brutal, and don't care about honor. The Grunts are cannon fodder that are really quickly replaceable. Jackals don't even believe... Oh, Grunts are Ungoi. Jackals, aka KGR, are the only species in the Covenant that doesn't even believe in the Great Journey. They are just pirates that are working for the Covenant. And then Hunters, aka Lekgolo, Ungalekgolo, are colonies of worms that form into many different shapes that are utilized by the Covenant in war and as tools.
Double kill.
The drones, aka Yanmei, are a bug-like species that aren't extremely intelligent and serve the Great Journey in hives. I'm blanking on some others. Prophets, aka, I mentioned it in the Halo 3 wrap-up, or possibly even this wrap-up. I believe it was this wrap-up. Sunshine are the leaders of the Covenant. Crap. Okay. And the engineers are foreigner creations that serve the Covenant against their will. I
Double kill.
don't think I missed any, but I'm gonna think on it for a moment before I end the video. Jackals, brutes, elites, drones, engineers, prophets, believe I got everything. There are some that are only mentioned in lore, but since they're not in the games that we played, I won't talk about them. Anyways, that's it for Halo. Legitimately, thank you for coming and watching me play my favorite game series on my channel. It's been a fun time. It's been annoying at some points working with the recording system I've got, but I've beat some games that I haven't even beat on normal before, so it's a big achievement, and I did it all here on my channel, which is something I've wanted to do for probably a decade now. So thank you for being a part of this, whether you were a part of it when I was uploading, or it's 3.5 years down the road and I'm in college not uploading at the moment because I'm in college, and you're watching the videos and enjoying them, and just thank you for enjoying my favorite game franchise with me.
Double kill.
I'm gonna play till I die, and then find a good thumbnail for this video.
Triple kill. Triple kill.
Thank you for being a part of this. I'll see you in whatever I upload next in a few days. I'm gonna take a break, cause yeah, I'll see you in whatever I upload next in a little over a week. Might be Ultracomb, might be Helldivers, might be something else. I don't know.